start.
SRP is a bank which provides loans to business customers. SRP plans to make 100 managers jobs redundant from its 80 branches. This would remove one level of hierarchy. This is part of its plan to save $1 million in costs over the next 2 years. The managing director said SRB is working with a trade union about this plan. SRB will make more use of delegation. The bank has to respond to increased competition from online banks. SRB could either advertise more or develop new products and services. Define a trade union.
So when I talk about a trade unions are groups that are formed to protect their members. Okay. So a trade union is what? A group that is formed to protect the interest of the members.
Okay.
And we go to
define the level of hierarchy, the number of layers within an organization.
Yeah, and also you can say the level of authorities within an organization.
The level of authority.
It is in a business structure.
Yeah.
All right.
Applying to advantages of SRP using a delegation.
What is delegation? Delegation means you are giving authority to someone to act on your behalf. So the advantages of doing this
develops team spirit and also leads to a successful organization, a key to a successful organization as well.
It also improves the motivation of workers.
Yeah, sure.
It improves the motivation of workers. It allows managers to focus on other aspects of the operations.
Explain 2 factors SRP should consider when deciding with managers to make redundant.
So what are the factors you should consider if you are making your managers redundant? First, you think about the output, the productivity of each manager. That means the levels of their skills, what they have. The skills of the managers is important to know if the ones that are going are not relevant as the ones that are staying behind. That's the skills of the manager. 2, the reward for each managers, like what their package is about. Which one is getting more and which one is getting less.
Okay.
So the amount of money they make, their involvement in the organization is also an important issue that you have to put into consideration. That's 3. I think it's enough, or you want more?
We could add 1 more.
Okay, another factor that you should put into consideration is the future of the organization. Which one do you think you see? Which one of them do you see in the future of the organization in terms of their ambition?
Okay.
So those are the factors you have to put into consideration before you make a manager redundant.
Do you think that more advertising is better way for a business to respond to increased competition than introducing your products and services?
Yeah, well, first, you have to talk about advertisement. Okay. When you talk advertisement is you are letting customers, you're increasing the awareness of your customers.
Okay.
So increasing the awareness of your customers might mean that you might have new customers buying your products, and they might be able to understand the importance of consuming that such product, which might increase your sales. But you have to think about the cost of advertisements too. It is, when you have to spend on advertisement, it becomes a cost for the organization.
Okay.
That's a problem about advertisement. Another problem about advertisement is that your competitors might even be doing more advert than you. Might spend more on advertisement than you are spending.
Yeah, but this is not a throwback of an advertisement itself.
It's a problem when your competitors spend more in advertisement than you. It means they are able to reach more customers than you. It might mean that. It might mean that they might be able to showcase more of their product than yours. These are investments.
Okay.
So introducing new products and services. When you introduce new products, it also means that you are able to retain your customers. So your customers, the ones you have, your existing customers would not need to check your competitors for new products or services. So that's a good thing. 2, you might be able to have more customers. Potential customers might be coming because you have a new product or service. The problem about new products and services, the forecast you might have made, you might not be able to, the forecast that you have made, maybe like, you think 1,000 customers will be buying, and you might be seeing less, which means you would have spent more and getting a less return. Introducing new products is also might be a problem for your workers. they might not be flexible enough to work on that production.
Yeah.
Or you might need new equipment or machine for
That's
the new product and service.
Yeah.
So I think it's clear. So
very clear.
you just have to talk about advertisement and you talk about new products.
Okay. We go to 2.
Yeah. YMG, okay?
YMG is a private limited company. It is the largest manufacturer of soft drinks in country B. YMG produces 1 billion letters a year using flow production. The managing director wants YMG to expand. He said I plan to increase production to 3 billion liters over the next 5 years. This will allow us to start selling our products in new markets in other countries. I know for cost and lack of local knowledge can cause problems, but there are ways we can overcome them.
So yeah, for flow production, it means continuous production of a product. And that means you continue to produce
the same product.
Some product non-stop. That is flow production.
B, identify 2 methods other than technology a business can use to improve efficiency.
To improve your efficiency, efficiency means getting it done the right time, giving it to your customers at the right time.
Okay.
So that's efficiency. That means you're able to deliver.
It's not only about time. It's also about the quality, not only about time. This is efficiency, right?
Yeah. When you talk about the quality, when you talk about the product itself, maybe you're talking about the productivity. There's productivity, there's efficiency. So efficiency means you are able to deliver on time.
Okay.
So for you to be able to deliver on time, it means you are able to produce at the right time. That's why they said other than technology, because technology will make things to become faster. So as it becomes faster, delivery time becomes lesser. That is efficient. Right. That means you are being efficient. Is it clear? So other ways to improve efficiency of a firm rather than technology is training of the employees, train them. Another method of improving efficiency is specialization. Give the jobs to those that understand how to do the job or that knows how to do the job well. Another method of improving efficiency is motivation of the workers. They'll be happy, they would want to deliver as at when due.
C, outline 2 sources of finance YMG could use for the new technology.
So YMG could get new technology through a loan, which is an external finance. YMG might get a finance through retained profit, putting back the profit into getting the technology. That's 2. Another source of finance is YMG could get it through crowdfunding. Is it enough or you want more?
It is enough. D, explain how each of the following problems might affect YMG when entering a new markets in other countries.
When you're entering a new market and you don't have, you lack the local knowledge, it means you don't understand how competitors behave in that market. Lack of local knowledge. It means you don't know how competitors behave in that market. That's number 1. 2, it might mean that's 1. It doesn't give you the opportunity to understand how you have to compete with them. Maybe you have to be aggressive in terms of your advertisement. Maybe you need to reduce the price. Maybe it's a price method that you have to use. You wouldn't know because you're going to a new market with competitors there that you don't know how they behave. 2, I'm still talking about lack of local knowledge. I've talked about lack of local knowledge through competitors, lack of local knowledge through the consumers. You don't know customers' behavior. You don't know what they want, how they want it, and what patterns of what responsibilities they look up to when it comes to buying a product. Maybe they want companies that are socially responsible, and maybe you're not. So you don't know their behavior. Another thing we could talk about in local knowledge is the legal controls over there, the government legislation, the laws of that land. You don't know. So we go to problem caused by import quotas. When we talk about quotas means you are placing numerical figures on what can be brought into the country.
Numerical.
Figures. That means you're putting numbers on what could be brought into the country. You cannot import more than 5,000 quantities. So if that happens, it means you have less product available in that market. You won't be able to supply more into that market. That means your supply in that market will be less, which might reduce your revenue. That's problem caused by import quotas. That was number 1. It might also mean that you won't be able to get imported raw materials as you would really wish to. What?
Okay, like how? In what way? I didn't.
Import means you bringing product into this country.
Okay.
As a producer, you won't be able, there will be quantity of raw materials that you can bring into the country. So that means you might not be able to have access to quality raw materials.
Oh, okay.
Another problem about import quotas is that as a seller, you might not be able to sell, customers, especially for customers now, customers might not be able to bring to get different choices they would want or the large quantities they would really wanted. That's import quotas.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I said, do you think a joint venture is the best way for a business to enter a new market in another country? There are other ways you could enter a new market. You could enter through franchising. You could enter through licensing. But here, let's talk about joint venture. The advantage about joint venture is that, one, you don't need to spend on premises, because that company you are joining up with, that company that is there, already have the premises that you might be able to share. That means you'll be sharing the expenses. In terms of rent, you'll be using resources together.
Okay.
Which means you might be having access to new customers.
Yeah.
You don't need to make a lot of advertisement because there's a company that has the knowledge of that market you're going to. You're just working with that company. The company would give you details about how the market works.
Yeah.
So that's advantages about joint venture, but you have to share the profit. You might not have your say as you really wished. Like when you have franchise, which means all the profits it's yours, you are expanding without even spending more.
Yeah.
Okay.
E.
That's E.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. 3. Elton is a sales trader. He sells specialist clothing and equipment for sports, including baseball and hockey. It is a niche market. Elton started his business 5 years ago, and it has remained small. A wide range of inventory is important. Elton has been looking at the financial performance of the business. The profit margin for 2018 was 35%, and extract of the accounts and shown in Table 3.1. A, define a sole trader.
A sole trader is a one-man business. That means a business that is set up by an individual that controls everything, okay?
B, calculate X and Y.
X is profit. And to get profit is total revenue minus total cost. So let's see our total revenue here. Yeah, for X is for 2018. So the profit for 2018, we said profit is total revenue minus total cost. The total revenue is 24,000. And the cost of sales is 7,200. The expenses is 8,400. So we have this, which is cost on sales. This is expenses. This plus this minus 24,000. That's 24,000, 7,200 plus 8,400 minus 24,000. That will give you a profit. I think that's clear.
Yeah.
Then for Y, which is the cost of sales. Our cost of sales. Wait, sorry. They said we should calculate profit. No. This is the profit for the year. Profit for the year will be gross profit minus expenses. Sorry.
For the year?
Yeah, it's profit for the year.
Okay.
It's gross profit minus expenses. That's 16,800 minus 8,400. Are you with me?
Yeah.
16,800 minus 8,400. That's what? 16,800 minus 8,400. 7,000 something. 800 minus 8,400. 7,400. How much is it, please?
6,800 subtracted.
16,800 is there. The gross profit minus expenses gives you your net profit. Gross profit minus expenses gives you net profit. Are you in the same page with me? Table 3.1. Yeah. So we have 16,800.
8,400.
8,400.
Yes.
Okay, now the profit is 8,400. Great. Yeah. Then cost of sales. For cost of sales, our cost of sales is normally gross profit is revenue minus cost of sales. So if gross profit is revenue minus cost of sales. Mm-hmm. Now we are looking for cost of sales. That means cost of sales equals to revenue minus gross profit. Mm-hmm. So revenue is how much? 25,000. Yes. Gross profit is 18,000. So 25,000 minus 18,000 is 7,000. Okay. So Y is 7,000. X is 8,400. Y is 7,000. Is it clear? Okay. Now go to C.
State for factors that can influence the amount of inventory a business might hold.
So the amount of inventory that you can hold means that the quantities you can have in terms of your inventory. So the factors that could decide those inventory that you can hold will be one, the kind of inventory you are producing. Is it perishable or non-perishable? Is this something that you can keep for a longer period of time or not? Mm-hmm. How perishable the stock is, the product is a factor that you put into consideration. Do you get my point? Yeah. Two, the cost of storage. Mm-hmm. Are you going to spend more when you have to keep them or not? The cost of storage can also determine the amount of inventory you could keep. Mm-hmm. Three, the space you have to put these inventories. Mm-hmm. Isn't it?
Yes.
If you don't have space, then you can't keep them.
Okay.
And four, the future demand of that inventory. The future demand, is it seasonal? Mm-hmm. Or not seasonal? So if it is seasonal, at this period of time, we have to keep these things like fireworks, or during the Christmas time or during the middle time, they need a lot of fireworks, then we can keep them at that point in time. Okay. So how seasonal is that product, number one? Two, how perishable is that product? The cost of storage and the space to keep those inventories. Is it clear?
Mm-hmm. Do you explain an advantages and disadvantages to of operating in a niche market?
A niche market is a market where specific products are sold to specific customers. Mm-hmm. So advantage of having a niche market is that you can sell at premium prices. Mm-hmm. One advantage, that you can sell at higher prices because you're selling for specific people who need it. Another advantage is you have no competitors or less competitors. Yeah. The problems about a niche market is that you might not be able to enjoy economies of scale because you don't produce at large quantities. Yeah. And you might also find it difficult to expand when needs be. Mm-hmm.
Do you think Elton should be pleased with the financial performance of his business? Justify your answer
using profit ratios. Using profit ratio. So we have to use, for profit ratio, we have gross profit ratio and net profit ratio. Mm-hmm. For gross profit ratio, it is gross profit over sales multiplied by 100. Net profit ratio is net profit over revenues multiplied by 100. Revenue is the same as sales. Mm-hmm. Are you with me? Yeah. So they said we should use that to say if the financial director should be pleased or not. So we have to check 2018 towards 2019. In 2018, the gross profit. Now, in 2018, the gross profit was 16,800, and it improved to 18,000 in 2019. Mm-hmm. There's an improvement in the gross profit, not the gross profit margin. Mm-hmm. In 2019, for the profit, in 2018, the profit made was 8,400. Mm-hmm. But in 2019, the profit reduced to 8,000. There's 400 difference in the profit for the year. So are you with me? These are what you have to say. Mm-hmm. Then let's check the gross profit margin in 2018 and that of 2019, the net profit margin of 2018 and 2019. Because these figures we have here are figures that we might not be able to know if the business has done well or not. Mm-hmm. We have to check that based on the sales of the business compared with the gross profit. Based on the sales of the business compared with the profit for the year, which is the same as the net profit. So gross profit for 2018, the gross profit ratio is 16,800, 2018. 16,800. Can you calculate that for me, please? Your calculator. 16,800. Oh, sorry. 24,000 divided by
24,000
divided by 16,800 multiplied by 100. What does that give you?
divided by 16.
1,800.
Okay.
16,800. No, that's 16,000.
800, you want?
Yeah, 16,800. 24,000 divided by 16,800 multiplied by 100. Sorry, what am I doing? Sales, our sales is this, right? No, gross profit is what? Gross profit is 16,800, sorry. 16,800 multiplied by 24,000. Oh, sorry. 16,800 divided by 16,800 divided by 24,000 times 100. 16,800 multiplied by 100 divided by 24,000. 70% in 2018. So let's check in 2019. In 2019, we have 18,000 multiplied by 100 divided by 25,000, right? 72%. So in 2018, the gross profit margin in 2018 was 70 and increased by 2% in 2019. So in 2019, we have 72%. There's an improvement in the gross profit margin, 2% increase from 2018 to 2019. Then we go to the net profit. Net profit is net profit margin or ratio is net profit divided by revenue multiplied by 100. So we check. Net profit in 2018, we have 8,400, right? 8,400 multiplied by 100 divided by 24,000 here. 35%. So net profit in 2018 was 35%. So we check 2019. 2019 was, the net profit is 8,000 multiplied by 100 divided by 25,000. 32%. So there's a fall in profit between 2018 and 2019 by 3%. So these are the analyses you have to put into the table. Then do you think you should be pleased? You shouldn't be pleased because the profit for the year reduces between 2018 and 2019. Is it clear? That's question 3, right? Question 4, please.
KTF makes building materials, including cement and bricks. Last year, KTF had sales of $25. KTF's objectives have often changed since it was started 60 years ago. The managing director wants KTF to expand. KTF is going to take over one of its main competitors. The newly expanded business will have combined sales of $40 billion. The managing director said many stakeholder groups will be affected by the decision. She knows there are many external factors that affect business activity, including the business cycle, interest rates, and legal controls to protect the environment. A, define the business cycle.
We're talking about business cycle. It's the same as the economic cycle, which means different stages an economy goes through, from economic growth to recession back to growth.
Okay.
Is it clear?
Very clear. B, identify 2 reasons why a business might change its objectives.
You might change your objectives. 1, because the first objective you made, you completed it. That means you succeeded in the objective, the first objective you have. Maybe the first objective is to to survive the market, to survive the business. And after that, you can think of making profit, which might be another objective. So a business might change its objective if first objective is met. Another reason why you might change the business objective is maybe legal controls. So government comes up with different policies and laws, regulations that might mean that you need to change some things about your business.
Okay. C.
Do you want more? It's okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
Outline one advantage and one disadvantages to KTF of taking over the other business.
If the KTF takes over other businesses, it reduces the competitors of KTF. It reduces your competitors. It means that you might be able to increase your sales and revenue. So competitors will reduce for KTF. The problem about takeover is that you might be overpaying. That means you're purchasing, the cost of purchasing might be overestimated. The benefit might be overestimated and the cost might be underestimated. There are two disadvantages here. The first, we talked about takeovers, right? One, you might be underestimating the cost. Like the expenses in this company is not that much, let's take it. And you might be overestimating the benefit. You thinking that you're going to make so much profits from the business. At the end of it, you might not be making it.
Clear. Explain how two external stakeholder groups might be affected by the takeover.
So, stakeholders group. Let's talk about first the workers. When takeover occurs, workers might be made redundant. Employees now. The stakeholder group, we're talking about employees, they might be made redundant because there might be repetition of work, which means we don't need so much people in this department. Two finance departments are going to join together to do this almost the same finance job. So might need just 5 workers instead of 10. So the rest can be, so workers can be made redundant. Another stakeholder group, even the bank. The bank, how can they, what about the bank? The bank might need to increase the loan they give to that business because the business might need more loans from the bank.
Okay.
Do you want us to talk about another stakeholder group or it's okay?
That's okay.
All right.
A, do you think business will be more affected by new legal controls to protect the environment that increase in unfair states? Justify your answer.
So first, let's talk about new legal controls. For legal controls, one, it might mean that the business would need to change its objective. Maybe the government says we should reduce pollution. If government says reduce pollution, it might mean that you need to pay for pollution permits, which is a cost for the business. So government might say you should pay government might increase the minimum wage, that you have to pay minimum wage. And because of doing that, it might mean that you need to increase the wage rate of the wages of your workers, which might mean an increased cost for the business. These are new legal controls. We talked about new minimum wage. We've talked about pollution reduction or new work or pollution permits. So let's talk about interest rates. For interest rate is the price of borrowings or the price of saving. So the amount you have to pay for borrowing money from the bank, that's interest rate. So if interest rate increases, it reduces the amount of money that is made available for you to borrow. It might reduce the investment into the business. Do you get the point here? You might need to borrow money for equipment or machine, but the interest rate has increased. You might not have that ability to borrow because you have to pay more than what you used to pay, which increases your cost. So if interest rate increases in the economy, it might also mean that consumer spending power will fall. Consumers will not be able to borrow money to buy things from KTF or whatever it is. Is it clear? So that's all right?
Yeah. That's it.
Okay.